just talk about how beneficial the week was for you to kind of go back and look at the first 4 games.
It was really good. It was good, first of all, as everybody thinks, we got a little healthier. I mean, we weren't bad, but we had, physical games, first 3 or 4 games. We got some guys, I think, feeling better now. And so, the other thing was we were able to evaluate ourselves. And sometimes you don't get a chance to slow down and do that as early as we did after 4 games. And I think that helped us, learn what we need, what direction we need to kind of focus on and go in. And we worked extremely hard throwing and catching the football last week. I thought we got better, and we've got to continue that over into this week.
How did the evaluations go, and then kind of what are you looking forward to now, moving forward?
There's a couple things. We look at individuals, and not so much at this point. It's more, are we asking guys to do what they're good at? At some point, it's not fair to ask a young man to do something that maybe he's just not as good at, or, let's try to play to what we're good at. And that's both collectively as an offense and individuals. So trying to get guys in the right spots, ask them to do the things that we think that they're good at. And then as a whole, as an offense, which direction, you kind of, each year your team develops on a little personality, and within that, the offense. What do we think we should be? And so we've tried to kind of go more that direction and really hone in on those things that we think. Each week you're going to have game plans, and you're going to have little things here and there, but what are we going to be good at? And so we looked at it from both those standpoints, as a whole as an offense, and then also just individuals. Are we putting them in the right position to be successful?
And what were those things? Other than obviously you've had some successful running and had success against Mississippi State passing, but what are those things that you feel you're consistently good at this point?
Yeah, well, at this point, not enough things. But we know the things that we're getting better at and the things we think will be our strong points. We've got a good set of running backs. We've got a good offensive line. At the same time, I feel like our receivers are getting better each week. We've got quarterbacks that have arm talent. It's just a matter of, the consistency level of execute, throwing and catching the football. We're not, over the first 4 games, at any point been consistent enough throwing and catching the football. And for the most part, we want to, we know we want to be a tempo team and play fast, but you got to get first downs to do that. And, sometimes if you don't get that first down, it makes it really hard to get your tempo going. So at times we've done that in spurts, and we've looked, a little bit of a glimpse of what we want to be, and at times we've been exactly what we've been, very inconsistent. And, the other thing that we really focused on, and it sounds like a broken record, and at some point it's got to get fixed if we're going to win football games, is ball security. Has been as bad as we've had in a long time. It's just not to our standard. Even plays that we don't turn the football over. We've got to, that has been a huge emphasis last week and this week, and our guys are really taking that personal, and they should. That's the only way we can get it fixed. And then the other thing is, at times, the last 2 games we haven't maybe had the number of penalties. At Mississippi State we were pretty good. The last game we had 2 penalties at critical times that were costly. So, discipline overall as a whole has got to keep improving.
Rhett, just kind of talk about Dick and where he's come from where he was in the summer.
He's much more confident, more comfortable. You could tell really, I think, after the drive against Mississippi State, I felt, that him and the team as a whole, that was a big boost, as it should be. I mean, he had a great week of practice before LSU, and we just came out in that first half, and as a whole offense, it's easy to put it on one person. We were very poor. I mean, I said it last week, we didn't give us a chance to win. We didn't throw and catch the ball very well at all, and therefore we never got enough momentum to get tempo going, to get, the type of plays we need going. And so second half, it was like a different team. It was just too little too late. And so, like I said last week, I'd love for us to put 4 good quarters together and to play discipline. Our guys, we see them do it. They know how to do it. It's just I guess it's growing pains and the maturation process. We got to get to the point this week where we can play first quarter through the fourth quarter.
Rhett, looking at the SEC, statistical, I don't know how much you personally look at that kind of stuff, but the 2 big name up-tempo teams, Ole Miss and Auburn, kind of bottom half of that statistical category.
Yep.
What do you attribute to that?
Well, it goes back to, first downs. We're like towards the bottom in first downs. That's not normal for us. We normally are one of the top couple teams in first downs. And that's just been a byproduct of, hey, we'll have a great, we've had a drive this year. We go 88 to win the game. We went 90-something one time. Against LSU, I think we went 88-94. And then you'll have 2 other drives back-to-back where you go 3 and out or 6 and out or 4 and out or whatever. And it's just the inconsistency. And when you're inconsistent, you never get in a rhythm as an offense, as a team. And your number of plays are going to go down. And if your number of plays go down, then your tempo goes down. And so, like I said, I mean, those numbers aren't where we want them to be. We know that. The bottom line is we found a way to win 3 games, and that's a big positive. And so we feel like as we keep going forward, if we can continue to develop and become a consistent, disciplined offense, then, you know, we can obviously win more football games and those numbers will go up.
Just talk about what you see out of Ole Miss's defense so far.
They're really fast, really athletic. They're playing some young guys that are talented, but they've got a good mix of guys that have played. Trey Elson stands out, the safety. He's from this state. Really good football player. He's playing really good for them. DT Shackelford's a linebacker I know has been there a while playing. They've got some of those young guys that are really talented. And what stands out to me is they play extremely hard and they're fast and athletic. I mean, they got some guys that can rush the passer. They can really run on the back end and the secondary end at linebacker. You see it on film. You saw it on TV last night. I mean, they play extremely hard. And they're playing really well, to be honest with you, really confident.
Right. This is going to be one of the bigger challenges when you talk about those guys you mentioned, but also the Beachy brothers and just how highly talented that young man was coming out of high school. Now both of them are doing this quite well. Yeah,
I mean, the one that plays linebacker is one of their better players. I mean, he's a really good football player. And then the young Kendichi boy, I mean, he's a big man. And he's already physically ready to play at this level. And you can see he's making plays, but it's not just him. Their front is very active. They move them a lot. They're fast. They're athletic. They do a good job. I thought you saw in the game on TV last night. They did a good job putting pressure on the passer, and they do a really good job because their scheme is one that allows them to play fast. I mean, Dave Womack does as good a job as anybody at keeping the scheme simple so his guys can play. And they play to their strength, which is right now they're athletic and they're going to look good. They're big guys that can move. And they recover well. If you get them out of position, they recover well. And so what looks like going to be a really good play turns into a 5-yard game.
Just how big of a challenge is that for the offensive lines? You saw last night, Kendichi at tackle in some places going against guards.
It's a big challenge for all of them because they're going to try to get matchups. I mean, it's not going to be just, hey, Greg Robinson, you got to deal with this guy, or so-and-so, you got to deal with this guy, Reese, you deal with him. And they're going to move guys around. They're going to move a lot. It's a good scheme. It's a really good challenge for us because like I said, it's a really talented bunch. I mean, it really is.
Have you guys seen anything like that yet this season?
I think we've seen some good defenses. Talking about as far as moving
around,
LSU did some things on third downs where they might put some extra speed linemen in there to rush the passer and twisted some. They do a really good job with their blitz package, LSU does. So we've seen some stuff like that. I thought Mississippi State's front was really good. I thought they did a really good job. So we've seen good players. You're going to see it week in, week out in our league, but this is a good challenge. I mean, these guys are all long and can really move.
What are some things last week in practice you did specifically to address those ball security issues?
Part of it is accountability, and whether it be accountability for the past or instant accountability within practice. I mean, it's as simple as just because a guy doesn't fumble on a play in practice, if you notice that ball's loose or being a little careless with it, you got to address it right then. Not just to make a guy go to rut downs or punish him. What you're doing, you're emphasizing. You're making it every play, every day. It's on his mind. I got to protect that football. Because if you don't do that when they get in the game, it's not going to be second nature. It's got to be become something that's a habit, it's ingrained. And so our coaches have really worked hard at really paying attention to those details. Hey, you get used to in practice running a play. There goes the ball carrier, blow the whistle. No, did he have that ball out here swinging it carelessly in traffic? Did he have 2 hands on it? Did the quarterback have 2 hands on the ball in the pocket? All those little things matter. And we've emphasized it from day one. Obviously, we haven't got it the point across good enough, so we've re-emphasized it and turned our level of intensity up on that.
Have any of the wide receivers you said in that committee to replace Jalen, have any of them set themselves apart yet?
I think CJ, Brandon Foles, those are some guys that have, they're smart, they're older guys, they've been in the system, they can do it. You got guys like Melvin Ray, who stepped up the other night and played some minutes. So Tony Stevens, like I said, I think last week is starting to really come on, and hopefully we'll see his minutes increase. So you said it best, probably a little by committee. I don't know if one guy will play as many snaps as Jalen did, but we got a couple guys that we feel like physically can do what we were asking him to do.
How have Marcus Davis and Tony, how have they come along and progressed, and it's kind of hard for freshmen to play?
Really well for freshmen. I mean, Marcus Davis has had a fantastic attitude from the third practice of fall camp. You knew he was going to help us this year. I didn't know if he'd start, but you knew he was going to help us because just his attitude. I mean, the way he attacks practice, the way he listens. You correct him on something, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. Young guys are like that. They're really coachable because they don't know any better. I mean, if you tell them to go do this, they're gonna go do it. I mean, they don't know, he's crazy. No, you tell them to do it, run off the field, do this, do that. They do all the little things right, because they're urgent, they're eager. And I thought he's gotten better and better. We trust him, that's why he plays. Tony Stevens is one, since we got him healthy. He's had a great attitude too. You know, his talent is starting to take over more because he's starting to think less. I mean, there's still plenty of things that he needs more reps at, but he's going to continue to be a bigger factor for us.
But how was practice tonight after you guys had a couple of days off to get away from?
It was good. I mean, we had a good practice. We got some good work done. You know, I mean, the biggest thing we're preaching to them, really, starting with Coach Malzahn as a whole, but even on offense, is the urgency. I mean, we have to have a great sense of urgency every day this week in practice, every time in meetings. I mean, this is a big football game, and our guys have to practice and prepare like it's a big football game. And so I thought they got off to a good start tonight, but we got to raise our level on Tuesday.
One more. What kind of guy is Ryan Applin, and what do you remember from your time coaching him? And
Yeah.
obviously he's now there at Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ryan's a winner. I mean, he's a great competitor. I mean, obviously he led us to a championship last year. Got a lot of respect for him. He's tough. He's a smart kid. I mean, he may not be done playing. I think he's still got some doors open next year. But in the meantime, you know, he's going to make a really good football coach. And you know, he played for a bunch of different coaches. He's learned a lot of different angles and schemes on things. But he was a winner and a leader more than anything. I mean, if that's what you're asking, you talking about to his character, what kind of person?
Yeah, and then just what you think he brings to their staff as a grad assistant.
Yeah, I would think for them too, he would bring some familiarity. You know, I mean, he knows that system. He played in it before we had him last year, so I think there's probably a comfort level with Coach Freeze and some of those guys. I think Bo Wallace even had been at Arkansas State at some point in time, so there's continuity there without a doubt. I'm sure it helps them have another set of, just like it helps us to have a Cody Burns, somebody who's played in our system and that knows what's going on. So I'm sure he's invaluable to them.
You guys had mentioned that you had tried to bring him over there at the end of the season. Ryan, were you part of that discussion with Ryan? About
Tried to do what now?
Bring him on to staff here.
Oh yeah, I mean a little bit. You know, Ryan is someone that, like I said, I mean I coached him, so I'm obviously partial to him. But I think he'd be a great asset to any team. You know, just the way it worked out, that's where he's at right now. And so on Saturday we'll be going head to head.